Gentlemen, behold! Moth Monster, oh no! Moth Monster Man, no! Come back!
He has escaped!
Yes, through the hole! My banana!
Hey there, Elwood City faithful. This is Will Young coming at you with Lucas Mancini.
Hello.
For a special bonus episode of Elwood City Limits. Now, this one is special in that it's actually not really about Arthur. Now this is true. This is the first episode of Elwood City Limits, not technically dealing with Arthur in too much of ways, but it does have to do with the medium that Arthur deals in, and that is animation. And Lucas asked that we take a little bit of time, and I think that he's absolutely right, to put a bit of a tribute out there to someone who is very influential in animation, especially adult animation, and very much so, I believe, in Lucas's life as well. So, Lucas, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. Who did you want to talk about today?
I wanted to talk about C. Martin Croker.
Okay.
He was a voice actor and animator whose principal work was Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Space Ghost actually has more in common than Arthur than you think.
Okay.
They both began around a very similar time, the mid-90s. Space Ghost started in 1994, and so they both kind of occupied the same time. Very different audiences, though. So Space Ghost Coast to Coast was actually the first original show ever made on the Cartoon Network. Before that, Cartoon Network was basically all Hanna-Barbera reruns. Mm-hmm. And to make the show, they had zero budget, essentially.
Sure.
So what they did was they repurposed animated cells from the old 1966 cartoon Space Ghost.
Yes.
And they took these animation cells and basically made a talk show out of it, which C. Martin Croker played two of the most famous characters from. He played Zorak and Moltar on the show, essentially Space Ghost's band leader and his producer. And he also was the principal animator on the show. Mm-hmm. So the show was super influential to me personally and animation as a whole. It was really a unique sense of humor at the time. It sort of invented cringe humor or anti-humor, something that you could see going today in shows like Eric Andre or Nathan For You.
Yeah, I was actually watching a bunch of Eric Andre recently and kind of I think it was on his interview with Colbert about a month ago or so, and he was kind of mentioning the influence of Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and it was just kind of interesting because Eric Andre, you talk about sort of cringe, almost anti-humor, and definitely outsider humor. Like Eric Andre is the king of that right now, and I don't have as much experience with Space Ghost, which is why I wanted to kind of let you take the reins in this one. But I will say that you're talking about it recently, and kind of your fondness for Adult Swim kind of got me to take a second look at it. And I've only seen a couple of episodes so far, but I'm definitely kind of I'm happy to say the humor is mostly hitting. And
well, another reason I bring this up is not just because C. Martin Croker passed away very recently, but to commemorate him, Adult Swim has put up almost, not quite all of them, but almost every single Space Ghost Coast to Coast episode up on their website for free to stream.
A whole bunch.
And it's also region free, I think, which these things tend to not normally be. So here in Canada, I've been able to watch it.
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. I didn't think that it would actually be able to work, but no, I managed to watch an episode that way, and I'll probably watch a whole bunch more.
So if you're interested and you want to see the show that essentially invented adult animation, or at least animation with adult humor, some episodes I personally recommend are Kentucky Nightmare, Knifin' Around, Girl Hair, which are all pretty much held in regard as the best three episodes, and my personal favorite, which is Fire Ant, the episode where Space Ghost interviews Conan O'Brien. Those are my favorite Space Ghost Coast to Coast episodes. My favorite joke is actually from the episode Girl Hair. He's got Hanson on. It's my favorite Space Ghost joke of all time. It makes me laugh every time I think about it. And him and Hanson are in like Space Ghost's, basically it's like his Batmobile. He's got a spaceship. And he's like, don't buckle your seatbelts, guys, because seatbelts are for nerds. What do you think this is, the nerd taxi? And it makes me laugh every single time I think about it.
Well, I also feel I should mention, because when C. Martin Croker died, unfortunately, I want to say he was in his 40s, which unfortunately
early 50s.
Early 50s, excuse me, somewhere around there. Very untimely passing, and he was also involved with another if not influential, then at least hugely popular Adult Swim show, and that would be Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So he was did animation duties on that as well, and it was interesting to me to look up not just his animation credits but his voice ones, because of course of the Space Ghosts that I've seen, like I absolutely love Moltar. He's my favorite. He's my favorite character, and so it's like I'm glad that he had such a great comic timing. And the same thing goes for Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Like I'm not really sure how I ever felt about that show, but always my favorite parts were at the beginning of the episode with Dr. Weird and his assistant, who he voiced both of those roles.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Aqua Teen Hunger Force, because like many shows, again, Space Ghost was the first Adult Swim show, and a lot of Adult Swim shows are actually Space Ghost spin-offs. Aqua Teen Hunger Force first appeared in a Space Ghost episode.
Oh,
Same
I didn't know
with,
that.
Brack, the Brack Show. That's another Space Ghost spin-off. And I think maybe Harvey Birdman might also be a Space Ghost.
Well, I think I don't want to speak on this with any sort of knowledge, but I know you can pretty much figure out that Birdman and Space Ghost back in the '60s were probably contemporaries. Harvey Birdman, great show as well. Like Adult Swim, it's a loaded lineup, and you picked a good thing to be a fan of. And anything else that you kind of wanted to say in regards to Mr. Croker?
No, just that I'm very thankful he did what he did, and I'm a huge fan of his work, and I'm saddened by his passing, but being able to watch all the episodes now is a great way to commemorate him. I also want to point out, again, the show's got tons in common with Arthur, more than you think. They both came out around the same era. They both deal with a lot of celebrity cameos.
Which we have yet to get to, but you're absolutely right.
If you're a fan of Arthur, you like our podcast, and you want to check out something a little bit weirder, a little bit more adult, a little bit more off the cuff and strange, check out Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Something that is personally recommended by our own Lucas Mancini. Well, we here at Elwood City Limits want to take a moment to salute Mr. C. Martin Croker. Lucas, thanks a lot for bringing this up. Glad that we could talk about this, and we will be having a new episode coming your way later on this week.